Welcome to the PDF Guardian podcast, where we talk about practical tips and the latest updates on document security and PDF management. We're here to help you safeguard your PDF files and streamline your workflow. All right, so let's jump into something I bet is top of mind for anyone in marketing or HR.
Yeah,
Document security.
absolutely.
I mean, you're juggling campaign strategies,
Right.
employee data, sensitive budgets,
Yeah,
things that you really don't want just floating around.
absolutely not.
Right. And so today we're going to unpack this concept of access codes.
Okay,
They might sound simple enough,
sure.
but actually one of the sources we're looking at today actually calls them a potential revolution in document security.
Interesting.
So that's a pretty bold statement.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, especially when you think about how much we rely on digital documents these days
totally.
in marketing and HR.
Yeah.
It's all digital now.
Yeah.
A simple tool like an access code can really change the game in terms of who sees what.
Okay, so before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
Yeah,
for those who are new to this, let's back up. What exactly are we talking about
sure.
when we say access code?
So think of it like it's a unique identifier for a document, way more secure than just your average password.
Okay.
It's basically like a digital lock. So only people with that specific code can actually open and view that file.
So couldn't someone just make a super strong password and call it a day?
Right.
Why even bother with this whole access code thing?
So regular passwords, even those complicated ones, they can be guessed, shared, even stolen.
Oh, yeah.
An access code is different. It's usually tied to a specific individual or group, and that gives you a much more granular control.
Makes sense.
So in marketing, you could lock down that campaign strategy so only your team can see it.
Right.
And in HR, you can make sure that employee data only goes to the right people.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And actually, the sources that we're looking at today are excerpts from marketing material for a product called PDF Guardian.
Okay.
So, we're going to kind of cut through the sales pitch here
Right.
and pull out the most useful insights for you.
Exactly. And what's interesting is they emphasize that access codes aren't just about keeping things locked away.
Okay.
They highlight a bunch of benefits that are relevant to how you actually work,
Okay.
both in marketing and in HR.
I'm all ears. What are we talking about here?
So they break it down into 3 key advantages.
Okay.
Control customization and tracking.
Okay, let's unpack those one by one.
Sure.
What do they mean by control?
It's all about taking charge of who sees your documents. So with an access code, you're not just hoping that everyone is being careful with a shared password.
Right.
You're literally choosing who has access and who doesn't.
Yeah.
That level of control is so crucial when you think about all the sensitive information that passes through marketing and HR.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is where that customization piece comes in, right?
Exactly. You're not just limited to everyone can see this or no one can see this. You can tailor access for individual people,
Oh, wow.
for specific teams,
Right.
even for a limited period of time. So think about giving a freelancer access to a project for just a week,
Oh, yeah.
or ensuring different levels of access within HR depending on someone's role.
Right.
That granular approach is really where the power lies.
That's a really good point. Now, the tracking benefit is the one that really caught my eye. What's the deal with that?
This is where it gets really interesting, especially for anyone who's ever wondered if that important document actually got read.
Oh, yeah.
With access codes, you can see exactly who opened the document and when.
No way.
So imagine in HR, you send out a new policy document.
Okay.
You can confirm everyone actually looked at it.
Wow.
No more I didn't know excuses.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right.
You know what? I hadn't even thought about it that way before.
Yeah.
But that tracking feature could really be a game changer in terms of understanding how people are using our information,
For sure.
both in marketing and HR.
It takes you beyond just security and into the realm of insight.
Interesting.
So did clients open that proposal? Did that key stakeholder actually read through the pitch deck? Access codes can give you answers.
That's awesome. And the source we're looking at today, PDF Guardian,
Right.
they actually give some examples of industries where this is particularly relevant.
Yes, they mentioned marketing, which we've been talking about, but also finance, legal, real estate.
Okay.
Basically any field where confidentiality is paramount.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Ah.
All right. So let's shift gears a bit
Sure.
and explore those examples in a little more detail.
Okay.
I think it would be helpful for our listeners to hear how access codes are actually being used in those different contexts.
For sure. Let's start with finance, like a world where numbers really do talk.
Yeah,
You got budgets, forecasts, investment strategies.
right.
Those can make or break a company, and you don't want just anyone peeking at them.
Oh, for sure. It's saying information is power, right?
Exactly.
And in finance, that's especially true.
Yeah. So imagine you're working on a sensitive merger deal. You've got financial statements, valuation models, all sorts of confidential information that needs to be really tightly controlled.
For sure.
Access codes can ensure that only those key players on the deal team actually have access to those documents,
Right.
minimizing the risk of leaks or insider trading.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Huge.
What about the legal world? I feel like lawyers, they're dealing with confidentiality
Oh, yeah.
on a whole other level.
Absolutely. Legal departments are practically built on the concept of confidentiality.
Right.
They're handling client information contracts, litigation documents,
Right.
things that could have serious legal and financial repercussions if they fell into the wrong hands.
It's giving me legal drama vibes just thinking about it.
Right, and access codes can be a real asset in that environment.
Okay.
They can help legal teams comply with strict confidentiality agreements,
Yeah.
ensure that only authorized personnel within the firm have access to sensitive case files,
Okay.
and even track who has accessed which documents,
Wow.
creating an audit trail for accountability.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about keeping things secret. It's about having that extra layer of protection
Exactly.
and documentation,
Yeah,
especially in a field where the stakes are so high.
precisely. And then you've got real estate,
Okay.
which might not seem as high stakes as finance or law,
Right.
but still involves a lot of sensitive information.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What kind of documents are we talking about in the real estate world?
So think property listings with detailed financials client data.
Okay.
You know, those juicy offers and counter offers.
Yeah.
All information that needs to be handled carefully and kept within the agency.
Oh, for sure.
Access codes can help ensure that only authorized agents and staff have access to those documents,
Okay.
protecting client privacy and preventing any conflicts of interest.
So it's about building trust with clients, right? By
Exactly.
demonstrating that their information is being handled securely.
Yeah, and it protects the real estate agency itself
Okay.
from potential liability.
That's a good point.
So-
This has been really eye-opening. I think we often take document security for granted,
Right.
but hearing these examples really highlights how crucial it is
Yeah,
across so many industries.
absolutely. And while the PDF Guardian material is obviously coming from a sales perspective,
Right.
they do offer some practical advice
Yeah.
on how to actually use access codes effectively.
Okay, let's dive into that.
Sure.
What are some of their top tips?
So one of the most important things they stress is creating unique access codes.
Okay.
For each individual document or user group might seem obvious,
Yeah.
but it's surprising how many people use the same password or code for everything.
It's like the digital equivalent of leaving the same key under the mat
Exactly.
for every door.
For every door, not very secure.
Not all.
Each document should have its own unique code.
Okay.
And even within the same document, you can create unique codes for different groups of people
Oh, wow.
who might need different levels of access.
Okay, so unique codes, check.
Check. Another key tip is to set expiration dates for access codes.
Oh, that's smart.
This limits that window of vulnerability
Okay.
by ensuring that documents are only accessible for a specific period of time.
So instead of giving someone indefinite access,
Right.
you can grant them access just for the duration of a project,
Exactly.
a campaign,
Yeah.
whatever the time frame might be.
Once the date passes, the access code automatically deactivates.
Oh, wow.
And the document is no longer accessible.
It's like a self-destruct button
Exactly.
for your sensitive information. I like it.
And speaking of minimizing risk,
Okay.
the PDF Guardian material also talks about integrating access codes with tracking tools.
Oh, yeah, we touched on this earlier,
Right.
but it's worth emphasizing how valuable that can be.
It's not just about keeping things locked away. It's about understanding how people are actually using the information.
For sure, sure.
Precisely so. By tracking who accessed a document when and for how long, you can gain valuable insights into how your information is being used.
Wow.
This can help you make more informed decisions about content creation, distribution, even security protocols.
It's like having a behind-the-scenes look
Yeah.
at how people are interacting with your documents.
Exactly.
You can see if that potential investor actually opened the pitch deck,
Right.
or if that client even bothered to look at the proposal.
Exactly. And this kind of tracking can be especially valuable for marketing teams who want to gauge the effectiveness of their campaigns, or HR departments who need to demonstrate compliance with data privacy regulations.
Okay, so we've got unique codes, expiration dates, tracking tools. What's the final piece of advice?
The last but certainly not least recommendation is all about education.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
They emphasize the importance of educating your team on the importance of using access codes and keeping them confidential.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how sophisticated your technology is if people don't understand how to use it properly.
Right. It's like having a state-of-the-art security system but leaving the front door wide open.
Exactly. So it's essential to train your team on best practices for using access codes, such as avoiding sharing them with unauthorized individuals, recognizing potential phishing attempts that might target those codes,
Wow.
and understanding the importance of reporting any lost or stolen codes immediately.
So it sounds like it's all about creating a culture of security within the organization, right?
Absolutely.
Where everyone understands the importance of protecting sensitive information
Yeah,
and knows how to use the tools at their disposal
exactly.
to do so effectively.
It's a combination of technology and human awareness working together to create a truly secure environment for your valuable data.
This has been incredibly insightful.
Yeah, it
I
has.
feel like we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From understanding what access codes are and why they're so valuable for marketing and HR professionals to exploring real-world examples and best practices for implementation.
It's been a fascinating deep dive, and I think we've only just scratched the surface of the potential of access codes. But before we get too carried away, I think it's time to take a step back
Okay.
and consider the bigger picture.
Ooh, I like where this is going. What are you thinking?
Well, we've talked about all the benefits of access codes, but are there any potential downsides or limitations that we should be aware of? Right? After all, no security measure is perfect.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been, singing the praises of access codes,
Right.
but like any tool,
Yeah,
there are probably some things to watch out for.
absolutely.
What comes to mind?
Well, one challenge that comes up is what happens if an access code gets lost or even worse, stolen?
Okay.
Suddenly, someone who shouldn't have access could potentially get their hands on a sensitive document.
Yeah, that's true. It's like losing the key to your safe.
Exactly.
All that security is useless if someone else finds it.
Right. That's why it's crucial to have procedures in place for dealing with those situations.
Yeah.
Most access code platforms allow you to deactivate codes
Okay.
or reset them if needed. It's also important to train your team on what to do if they suspect a code has been compromised.
So user error is a factor even with a good system.
Absolutely.
Are there other limitations we should be thinking about?
Another consideration is the user experience.
Okay.
Access codes add an extra step to the process of accessing a document, which can be a little inconvenient for some people.
Yeah, I can see that having to remember a bunch of different codes could get annoying,
Right.
especially if you're constantly working with sensitive files.
Right. And if the system is clunky or difficult to use, people might start finding workarounds,
Oh, yeah.
which could actually weaken your security.
Right.
That's why it's essential to choose an access code platform that's user-friendly and integrates seamlessly with your existing workflows.
Makes sense.
You want to make it as easy as possible for people to do the right thing.
So ease of use is key.
For sure.
It sounds like there's a balance to strike between, robust security
Right.
and a smooth user experience.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that leads us to a really interesting question about the future of access codes.
Okay.
We've seen how they're being used today,
Yeah.
but where could this technology go in the years to come?
Ooh, I like where this is going to hit me with your predictions.
Yeah.
What's next for access codes?
I think we're only at the beginning of what's possible with access codes.
Okay.
As more businesses prioritize data security and the technology itself advances, I expect we'll see some really exciting developments.
Like what?
One area with huge potential is integration with other systems and platforms.
Integration, what do you mean by that?
So imagine access codes seamlessly integrated with project management tools,
Okay.
cloud storage services, even communication platforms like Slack.
Wow.
Instead of switching between different systems, you could manage document access and security all within the tools you're already using.
So if I'm chatting with my team in Slack about a confidential project,
Right.
I could share a document with them instantly using an access code all within the same platform.
Exactly. It would make secure collaboration so much more streamlined and efficient.
That's really cool. Any other predictions up your sleeve?
Another area I think we'll see a lot of innovation is the use of artificial intelligence, or AI, with access codes.
Okay, now this is getting futuristic. How would AI play a role in all of this?
Well, for starters, AI could be used to analyze document content and automatically suggest the appropriate access level
Wow.
based on the sensitivity of the information.
Okay.
It could even learn from past usage patterns and flag potential security risks in real time.
So instead of manually setting access levels for every document,
Right.
the system could do it for you and
Exactly.
potentially even do it more accurately.
It would take a lot of the guesswork and manual effort out of managing document security.
Right.
And AI could also be used to monitor access codes for suspicious activity.
The-
Think multiple failed login attempts or access from an unusual location.
Yeah.
The system could detect those red flags and alert administrators to potential security breaches.
It's like having an AI security guard constantly watching over your documents,
Exactly.
ready to sound the alarm if anything fishy's going on.
Precisely, that level of sophisticated monitoring could really be a game changer for preventing data leaks and protecting sensitive information.
Wow, this all sounds incredibly promising.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, are there any potential downsides to these advancements?
That's a great question. It's crucial to think about the ethical implications of any new technology, especially when it comes to security and privacy.
Right, just because we can do something doesn't necessarily mean we should.
Exactly.
What kind of concerns come to mind?
Well, as AI plays a larger role in managing access, we need to make sure that those systems are fair, unbiased, and transparent.
Okay.
We don't want to create a situation where access is granted or denied based on biased algorithms or without clear human oversight.
So it's about making sure we're using AI responsibly and ethically,
Yeah.
and not just blindly handing over control to the machines.
Exactly. We need to strike a balance between security and individual rights. Ensuring that access codes are used to protect information without unfairly restricting access or compromising privacy.
It's a lot to consider, but it sounds like the future of access codes is going to be incredibly interesting.
I agree, and I think it's a future worth paying attention to.
Yeah.
As more of our work and lives move online, the ability to control access to information is only going to become more important.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
I think so.
We've explored what access codes are, how they can benefit both marketing and HR professionals, and even glimpsed into the exciting future of this rapidly evolving technology.
And most importantly, I hope we've inspired you to consider how access codes could enhance your own document security practices.
Yeah.
Whether you're protecting confidential campaign strategies, safeguarding employee data, or simply ensuring that your sensitive information stays in the right hands. Access codes offer a powerful and increasingly sophisticated solution.
Absolutely. So the next time you're about to share a confidential document, take a moment to ask yourself, could an access code make this more secure?
That's a great takeaway.
You might be surprised by the answer.
And remember, knowledge is power, but it's the ability to control that knowledge that truly makes the difference.
Words to live by. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of access codes.
Of course.
We'll be back next week with another fascinating topic.
Yeah.
Until then, stay curious, stay secure, and keep exploring.